guys, it is October 26th, 2024. It's a Saturday, and for that reason, all you can hear outside is just the constant hum of leaf blowers, and it is so annoying. So this video is a garden tour for October. I'm going to voice over. It's going to be relatively quick. We're going to do some harvesting. We still do not have a frost in the next 10 to 12 days. So you will see some summer things still hanging out, and you know, I'm okay with that. I did want to do this intro out there on that little patio set with this most gorgeous plant that I have been in love with for the last month or so. It's a black petunia. I was going to highlight it, be sitting there with it, but the noise is just too much. So I'll just put some pictures instead. One thing we have to be careful about, I've seen a lot of snakes in the last several days, including this guy right here. Yeah, so several snakes. That one, the copperhead, was heading right from my, well, he was kind of going between the yards, between my neighbor and myself, but my roselle patch is right there, and I have been going out there a lot. You can't really see what you're putting your hand into when you're getting down low. So I've been wearing gloves and closed shoes to go outside, which is sad, but it's that time of year. September, October, you know, that's when we have a lot of snake activity. And it's been so warm, it's been so dry, so I think they're looking for water. My neighbor's been watering and watering their lawn, and I think it may have been attracting that big copperhead. Let's go outside and let's see how things are doing in the garden. And I think by the time we do our November garden tour, things are finally going to start to look more fallish. We are going to start on the front porch today, and you can see my beautiful fern and corabelle and a bunch of annuals that will need to get cleaned up here in the next few days. I want to get the walkway, the porch ready for Halloween. So I am running out of time. These guys are way past their prime. Few little perennial things there, but you'll see a future video really soon on the front porch, the walkway, cutting back some things. They've gotten overgrown again so quickly, but look at this, guys. This tomato, this is 2 plants that have done so incredible. No fertilizing, no pest control, nothing, no pruning. It's just gorgeous. Artisan Blush is the name of that one. And so now we're entering the front yard. We're going to look at the right side, but I think first we're going to take a peek at the left, kind of look at the middle. This was a big project for me early this summer to work on this bed. Maybe it was late spring. It was just full of weeds. I didn't do anything last year at all. So it's been a relief to have this bed under control this summer. These peppers are starting to put on another round of peppers, and I'm going to let them because we've got at least 12 days of frost-free weather. Might get some more fruit, may not, but I think we will because look at all these babies. It is just loaded. And I would love to freeze a bunch of jalapeno poppers. I'm loving this peppermint stick zinnia. You can see the striping on the petals, so pretty. And because of all the snake activity, I went ahead and pulled out my watermelon vines the other day. And I'm just going to be doing some cleanup just to make things more visible and viewable. Just tidying up, kind of moving into fall. You saw that I just dug a hole and stuck that whole planter in a hole that had the fountain grass and the lantana. And I'm just showing you a few of the beautiful flowers that are blooming right now. The dahlias are really kind of coming into their own again. One project I want to do soon is connect these 2 flower beds. I kind of slowed down the motion there so you can see. I'm going to just convert that to mulch so we don't have to cut the grass between the 2 big flower beds here in the front yard. This is some aster that is at the end of its blooming cycle. You could see the roselle in the background. This is a rose of Sharon. It needs to get trimmed up. And here we are looking at those roselle hibiscus, which are just stunning. I am in love with the flowers. This is my first year to successfully make it to the flowering and the blooming stage. It's been a struggle for me to kind of get that down, how to grow roselle. I just put out a video yesterday about the roselle, so definitely go watch that. This is a spider flower, and there's lots of red sage blooming right now. That's an annual, but it self-seeds so readily. It comes back every single year for me. I've only planted it once, and I love it. The bees love it this time of year as well. Some pictures of the front of the bed. There's another dahlia. And now we're moving to that center bed again. This is the front side of the one we looked at earlier where I pulled out the watermelon vines. Pomegranate there that I'm kind of zooming in on. It's looking really pretty this time of year. Love the African blue basil. It's one of my favorites. This butterfly bush is actually starting to flower again. This is not a sterile variety. I would look into that if you live somewhere where they're going to readily self-seed. Next time, I'm definitely planting sterile varieties because it does cause me a lot of work. It's just a quiet moment there to look at the bees and the flowers without a bunch of the leaf blowers going at the same time. Definitely lots of bees out today. They're loving this beautiful sun, the weather. It was like 55 overnight last night, so it's really nice. This is Tithonia or Mexican sunflower. I have 2 right now, and they're just stunning. I love them. I love them in the fall. They are gorgeous. This is something I will grow in my garden forever. And look at how beautiful the trees are right now. They're starting to turn colors, and they look great with those Mexican sunflowers. Just perfect. Gara is another favorite of mine. It reminds me of little fairies just floating in the air. The flowers, the pollinators love it. It is a perennial here. And I think it's actually native as well. You're looking at some coleus, and I think we're getting ready to go over to what I call the side yard. This is to the right of my driveway. I converted that whole strip of land to nothing but planting areas. There's no grass over here to mow. So you can see there's lots of flowers. One problem I had this year, this is my holy basil patch. It's established for 5 years. It self-seeds. I don't plant it. It just comes back from seed. I did add dahlias this year, and that was a big mistake because the leaves, the young leaves of this particular dahlia look so much like the leaves of my holy basil. So sometimes I just walk around and pop a holy basil leaf in my mouth. I don't do that right now without rubbing it and smelling it and making sure I have holy basil and not the dahlia. Now we're at the top of the side yard. You can see these fall blooming daisies here. And I've got a bunch of whiskey barrels with plantings in them. And yeah, some more dahlias. I've been just sticking dahlias everywhere because they're just gorgeous. And they usually overwinter here successfully. Poblano, he did get some issues, but he's trying to bounce back. So I'm just going to see what happens. But most of these peppers will be coming out right before first frost. This bean has grown out of control. I cannot even reach those beans. I'm going to need like an 8-foot ladder to climb up there, which may not be safe. So I've got lots of brassicas, relay gardening with, say, the peppers. So they're still doing okay. You just have to keep them watered, make sure they're getting their nutrition met when there's 2 heavy feeders in a container like that. This is sedum. I think it's autumn joy. And let's see what else we're going to look at. We're entering the raised bed area. There's another pepper still hanging on, putting out some new flowers and fruit. And I've got this as my makeshift kind of seeding tray area. So I do have some germination. I had to restart all of my fall starts because of a rain, just heavy rain that pelted my plants and the seedlings. So I had to restart everything. My spinach, my lettuce, some Asian cabbages, bok choy, that type of product. But they are starting to germinate. I need to get out there and water them. They look kind of dry. And I do have these 2 long raised beds seeded, and I'm starting to get some germination, I've noticed, which is great. 1 squash hanging on there. I didn't have the heart to pull him because he really was trying so hard. So I'm just going to see what happens. You never know. I mean, a lot can change in 10, 14 days. You can see the voles are tunneling through here again. This has been the worst year that I've been gardening for these underground tunnels. They are all over my yard. So I've got some plants here that grow in the shade. Not this guy though, that's a full sun plant, but he's done really well there. Now we are getting ready to enter the backyard. That impatient is the one I rescued the night we were going to get our first frost last year. I kept it in my house, and then I planted it outside this late spring, and it's just looking gorgeous. It's the biggest impatient I have ever had. This is woodland phlox, one of my favorites for shade, and also forget-me-nots. Then we got corbels on the left that need to get divided. Right now, during the fall time period, I'm going to divide, replant, and clean up this walkway eventually, but that's low on the priority list. The Brussels, they're starting to get some growth on them. They're still really, really slow though. I don't know what else to do other than just water them and keep them happy. Cabbages, it's not cabbage, it's cauliflower. Looking okay. Radishes, they're finally also starting to grow. And now we are entering the backyard. And I did not water anything in the backyard for the last 4 or 5 days. And look at how dry that soil is. I have got to get out there today and water. I did water the front a couple times this week, actually. So that's a passion fruit vine you just saw on the right. That could be a big mistake. I'm going to have to evaluate because I'm getting offshoots all over the place, like 6-8 feet away. Could be a really bad decision on my part. You just get an overview here of the backyard. I still got impatiens in the ground that are flowering, looking pretty. This is a fragrant tea olive plant shrub. It's a zone 8, but it does do well here in 7B-ish. But right now it's flowering, and it is the most beautiful, intoxicating smell. It's just really nice. So I do like that plant. It is evergreen, and it is dog friendly. So one last little tomato hanging on there from the black creme. That was a sucker that I had planted late, and it did make one fruit at least. Some cone flowers. You can see my fig is starting to turn color. That is normal. Those leaves will just fall off. It's a deciduous plant. Need to harvest that lettuce. Just a mix of things going on in the green stalks, but they're kind of in a transition period. So I really need to get them all planted out for fall and winter. Just kind of giving you an overview. The beautiful trees. You can see the sun is kind of low. And I need all those leaves to fall so I'll get full sun again. And yep, just kind of looking at things. These peppers looking great. Peppers just love this weather. This is just their happy spot. As long as we're not getting down below 40, 45, they have been so happy this fall. And beautiful fern. And just a miscellaneous assortment. You'll see some things have changed a little bit. Did plant some rutabaga in those red pots we just looked at. Got some starts back here as well. Everything needs to get watered. I mean, I've got these cabbages with basil because, you know, we're just having this extended growing season right now. And here we are back at the beautiful black petunia. This fern will be going inside soon, as well as some of the plants over here I got by the back door. I've got them there, so don't forget. If we get a frost, they need to go in. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great gardening week, and I will talk to you soon. And, yep,